Morning. How's everyone doing this morning? How many drove in? How many stayed over? All right, so I hope you enjoyed your evening and didn't have to get out of bed too early this morning to make it here on time. Welcome to University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. My name is Ken Warden, Dean of College of Applied Science Technology. I want to appreciate you all for coming today. I want to start really by appreciating our Center for Business and Professional Development team, our faculty and trainers, and Mr. Ross, our director. Cameron's here. Cameron, give away. Where's Dr. Gordon? She's just got a second. Okay. Dr. Vocal, our associate dean back there in the back. You know, University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. How many of you have been on campus before? Yeah. All right. Well, for those of you who haven't, welcome. We're a hospitable bunch, so if there's anything that you need while you're here, please let us know. We aim to please. So, if you have a parking situation, you get a nice little white piece of paper under your windshield wiper when you return to your vehicle. Please let us know. We did call the PD. I know we sent some parking passes out, but not everyone may have got those. If you did get a parking ticket, just please bring it to us, and we'll take care of those for you. Today we've got a program for you to talk about Future Fit, which is an excellent partnership that we piloted with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. I see Justin back there. Cody's back there. He's coming to the door. And what we want to do today is hopefully make your lives a little easier, give you an opportunity to learn from some of the bumps that we hit along the way. And so we've got a program set for you. We hope it's going to be beneficial. And if you need things before, during, after this program, please call us if you have questions. If there's something that we could have done to make your life easier and make this more successful for you, we really want to do that. But the first thing I'd like to do is introduce our provost, Dr. Georgia Hell, and she's going to give you the welcome for so please, Dr. Georgia Hell.
Good morning, everybody. Kim's already asked me how you're doing, so I've already said fine, so I won't repeat that. But on behalf of Dr. Teresa Riley, our chancellor, and the senior staff, welcome to the University of Arkansas Fort Smith campus. We are glad that you're here. Not just because we love for people to come to our beautiful campus, but because of what you're going to learn today in this workshop. I had the pleasure to go to the graduation of our first 9 students who went through the Future Fit program. And we had the ceremony in a room that holds 70 to 75 people. It was full. Now remember, we only had 9 graduates. But it was full because our families come and support the people who are going through our programs. We had babies there and toddlers there, and they were moving around. But you know what was so good about that? They were there because this program is going to make a difference in their lives. Because it gets people ready for making a living wage. And it was inspiring, it was emotional. And Dr. Riley and I were sitting back there, and she's very lively, and we're thinking about what a difference our Center for Professional Development personnel is making in the lives of these students, in the life of this city, and in the economic development of this region. So you will have an opportunity to learn from some of the best trainers I know. Do I know a bunch? A few. But either way, they're very good. And so you're going to go back and you'll get that feel-good feeling that we had when we had our 9 students graduate. And what made it really special was the businesses that they're going to work for were there. And on TV you see athletes doing their signing and people around. The companies did that with these people that they were going to hire. Gave them jackets and hats and things like that. We choose you. How special do you think that was, not only for that person, but for that entire family witnessing that? And so if you want a feel-good moment, take what you learned today back to your area and do the same thing. And we have 15 in our second class. Tells you that the word is getting around. 6 of the people were hired instantly, and they were making between $13.50 and $14.50 an hour, and they're going to get a raise after a 90-day probationary period. So think about that and what it'll do for your region as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Kendall. And again, welcome to our campus and have a great day.
So thanks for being here today. Steve, come on up, my friend. It's your time. I want you to share a little bit, and then
little bit about what's going on. It's about to get real. Thank you guys for being here. We've got folks from here from all over the state. On behalf of Secretary Preston at Department of Commerce, Cody will probably speak here in just a minute, but thank you guys for participating and for jumping in on this process. We've got a lot to do. And Kendall, Ken, everybody here on the UA Fort Smith campus, I cannot thank you guys enough for what you've done to get this thing up and get it rolling. You guys have done a fantastic job. This program is, while we initiated it here, these guys got it off the ground and running, it is going to scale. It's fixing to go statewide. Met with Mike Preston yesterday afternoon, and he's had a meeting with the governor, and they are now bringing us back in and figuring out how we're going to roll this out even further than you guys, and funding, which is even a better thing. But this is a program that will help students from all walks of life walk into a better situation for their life. It will create really a future for them, and hopefully make them fit for that, as well as making the workforce coming out of the school systems right now fit for the employers that are out there. The number one thing, and I know every one of y'all heard this, is the employers will tell you they can't find people, and if they do find people, they can't find them with the skills they need. This is not rocket science we're doing here. This is the basics, but a lot of folks don't have that. And so this is a chance for them to jump up 1, 2, 3 steps from where they ever thought they could be potentially, and build a career in the organizations and companies in your communities. So again, thank you for being here. I'm not going to hold the show up much at all. I got to thank Cody Waite sitting in the back over there. He's writing checks out there, and he'll have cash in the back in a little bit. But actually, Cody and OSD is funding this thing, jumping in, and guys, it's a great partnership between them and us and y'all and every community that's out there right now. So again, thank you guys so much for the opportunity. Thanks for being here. Justin Majors and I are here. We'll try to answer any questions that come up that are not available here. And if we don't have answers, we'll make them up as we go. But we'll make it work. So thank you guys again for being here. Thanks, Kendall.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I just pedaled as fast as that state car would go.
Okay, I got it. So I don't want you to think of this as a train the trainer. There'll be some technical skills that will be trained later this afternoon. I want you to think of this more of a information transfer from us to you of what not to do. We can help you along that because we've kind of ironed this out. And the way this started was we had agreed, as we started Future Fit last year, we agreed to do a technical aspect portion. And then we began to get a lot of questions on the HR aspect, and a lot of questions on the employment aspect, and a lot of questions on the administrative side as to what exactly we're supposed to do here. So we just decided the best thing we could do is answer all of these questions at once. And we're going to try to record today and make sure that we can distribute this to you as you see fit. So this has kind of grown beyond what the original plan was, but I think in the long run it'll be beneficial to you. Dave Wingle is here today from Identify. He's going to tell you a little bit about the Smart Resume program and how that's available to you and your future fit people. So Dave, I'm going to let you take care of that. You can minimize that. Do what you need to do.
Help me out a little bit here, Ken.
Oh, escape. Just escape, probably. Yeah, and then you can minimize that. There you go.
Very good. Thanks, Kendall. Steve, it's great to be here, everyone. My name is Dave Wengel with Identify out of Little Rock, and we're excited to be a partner for the state, universities, and to roll out something that's never been done before, which is we've partnered with the University of Arkansas system, the Arkansas State University system, Arkansas Tech, North Ark, and we've created the world's first certified resume. So I'm just going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes today explaining what we're doing. There's absolutely no cost. Let's get that out of the way. There's no cost to your universities. There's no cost to your students. There's, for employers here looking for future fit talent, there's no cost for future fit. The way that we make our money, to let you know, is helping employers find kind of other skilled positions. But when we heard what the state was doing with Future Fit, we thought this was just a great opportunity to offer up our platform. So kind of what Smart Resume is unique, and you need to kind of rethink what a resume is. Traditionally, people get a Word document or a Google Doc and they type out stuff, but guess what? None of that's certified. And we were kind of shocked that, think about it, universities have been given diplomas for 500 years, transcripts for 500 years, but they've never actually issued a resume when they could do that. And so that's what we're helping our partners do. So we're making it really easy for the universities and community colleges in this room to issue certified resumes to the Future Fit recipients. And again, there's no cost. This is something that we're working closely with Steve and Justin on at AEDC. But we have created a Smart Resume specifically for Future Fit recipients. They have the ability, if they so choose, to fill in information on their Smart Resume. They don't even have to do that. You know, if they get a Future Fit certification, we've tagged all the recipients with the applicable SOC codes. So employers can just go in and see, hey, here's the people across Arkansas who have completed Future Fit. So for the employers out there, what we're going to show today, and most of the schools, just a 5-minute demo of one, here's what Smart Resumes look like for Future Fit recipients. And then secondly, employers, here's how you can use this to find Future Fit recipients throughout the state. So the first thing that we're going to show, any immediate questions, high level in terms of what is the certified resume that the Future Fit schools will have the option of sending. Any questions on that while I log in here? Okay. This is a lot easier to show versus tell, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through for a spirit of time, but for this individual that's in Future Fit, he's already had the key things certified for him. So it's showing that he's been certified as completing Future Fit program. We even explain what Future Fit is. Obviously, a big part of 2020 is going to be explaining to employers what is Future Fit. So Smart Resume will explain that. It'll show the dates of attendance. The plan right now is to provide the Smart Resume to people that are starting your program. So we don't want them to have to wait to look for work until they've completed. And then we'll also update their Smart Resume as soon as they've been awarded. So employers, you'll be able to know who are the people who have started the program, and you'll also know who's actually completed. In addition to the Future Fit certification, it'll also have their career readiness status. So if they're gold or platinum or silver, or I believe that's a requirement, or that they have a GED, that will be on there as well. There's a question in the back.
Is that self-reported, or are you guys accessing a database to confirm?
So that's actually coming from the school, from the university partners themselves. So my understanding is from the requirement for Future Fit is you either have to have a GED or a career readiness certificate. Is that right, Steve?
Well, actually both.
Or both, okay.
Diploma and or GED.
Yep.
As well as the CRC, and they'll bring that in when they enroll.
Yep.
To document that, so it's not really self-reported, they've got to actually show proof that it exists.
Yep. And so we know that clearly people are going to have varying degrees of digital literacy, right? So just, let's say the bare minimum, right? We're sent a spreadsheet about people attending. Even if the Future Fit folks don't touch this at all, they'll at least be indexed and employers can find them if they want to be found. But it's also very easy for people to create a resume off of this. So in this case, this person's added this job objective. So this is like basically a better version of a resume where it's very easy for people to add sections with things that aren't certified, like work experience, job profile, job objectives, and then they can add that in. So just one other kind of key point on here, they have the ability, this isn't a walled garden, Future Fit recipients, they can save a copy of this, they can email it to anyone in the world that they want. What we want them to do though is we want to make it easy for them to actually apply for jobs with Future Fit. And so I mentioned briefly earlier SOC codes. So one of the most unique aspects of our system is that we can tag the Future Fit recipients with the SOC codes that are applicable for them. And then employers, when they post their jobs, the SOC codes for Future Fit are also tagged with them. So then in this case, it's kind of hard to see. You see this little asterisk right here? So the reason why this production operator job is at the top of this person's list is because they've been tagged with these SOC codes. So we already have hundreds of jobs on our portal. So our goal is we don't want to show this person, the software programmer job first. We want to show the most relevant jobs for your future fit recipients. And so then he just sees this job, and it's just this easy. It's in Fort Smith. They're looking for production operator assembler. That's what he's just been certified in. That's it. He's literally just applied for that job here in Fort Smith. And so I'm going to jump over next, and I'm going to show you what the employer sees. But just to let you know, for the future fit recipients, they are in total control. So one, this is an opt-in service. They can also signal just, am I actively looking for work? Maybe I'm not actively looking, but I'm willing to hear from people. Or they can see number 3. So number 3 means I don't want anyone to contact me now whatsoever. If they click that, they basically become invisible in the system. So employers won't be contacting them. And then just one other item, and I'll pause for any immediate questions, but the SOC codes, so we will kind of tag them with the future fit SOC codes. If they think that those are wrong or not accurate, they can change those themselves. Or if they have additional kind of occupational interests, they can tag that here. So our goal with Smart Resume is to make it easy for the future fit graduates to showcase their certification, but it's also, we want to make it easy for employers to find these individuals. So let me, while I'm cutting over, does anyone have any immediate questions about what the future fit recipients will get with the Smart Resume? Yeah.
Can the future fit participant add content?
Yes.
I mean, is there some content that automatically gets populated into the fields, it looked like? And then there's some they could add to it as well, right?
That's correct, and I'll show you how easy it is. So back here for John Sample, our Smart Resume recipient, and these are labeled too, so the first time they log in, there's a big step 1 right here. Step 2 for preferences. So this is, we understand no one's ever done this before. There hasn't been no certified resume, so we have to make it easy of steps. But on the Smart Resume here, they have, and there's basically alerts to say, hey, you can add a new section if you want to. So let's say this person wants to do a job, profile. I'm save. So now obviously no one wants their job profile at the bottom, right? So we've studied hundreds of resumes. All of this is just a simple drag and drop. So people can add in a matter of about 5 minutes. Any resume sections that they want, they can either copy it over from their existing resume, or they can just easily add it here. So if they want to add in, work experience, projects that they've done, volunteer work, skills and abilities, it's very easy for them to add this themselves. And then they just click preview, and you see we just added this 10 seconds ago, and it shows up. And so then again, they can save a copy of this as their PDF, and they can email it to anyone, or they can apply for jobs that fit them. And what we kind of are really excited about the feature that I'm about to show you is they don't even have to apply for the jobs. They can be, as long as they want to be found, they can be in the certified talent pool, which is what I'm going to show you next as the employer. And if anyone doesn't like this, this is the last part of the demo, so we're almost done. But Steve, yeah?
Yeah, quick point. Now, the information that goes on there for future fit certification as well as the ACT, CRC, the NCRC, that's locked in. They can't change that once they put it in. But everything else is self-reported and addable like you were showing them. So they do have flexibility in that, but the initial stuff that goes out of there, that comes out that actually is certified, they can't mess with that.
Right, and that's really important. So they can't inflate what they accomplished in future fit. And let's just be honest, it happens. Resume inflation happens, and then that hurts the employers, because then employers hire people that maybe they're just learning about future fit and they don't know what a future fit is yet, and then someone tries to augment that on a personal resume, and now that's hurting the state, because now employers are going to have kind of confusion over what really future fit is. And so this is something that, to Steve's point, those things are locked in. and you'll know exactly who has received Future Fit and who hasn't. So you won't be getting random resumes of people who claim to have been certified that really are lying about it. These are going to be people that have been certified by the university partners. Yeah.
Now, for the previous work experience, are you guys going to do the background check?
No, we're
Add
not.
Notes and everything? Okay.
Not right now, yeah. There's, to build the consortium, our focus in 2020 is on getting as many of the school partners here as possible with the educational. And then there's other issues just with work experience. There are a lot of other kind of traditional background check companies, and nobody's doing what we're doing, so we're going to focus on this part. And I think employers will have different needs around other background checks. So, yeah.
It's always
It could get there eventually.
all in one kind of stop for the
Yeah.
employer.
Yep. So right now, folks, what we see is this is an employer view. So this is fictional Acme Manufacturing Company. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys with information today, but I think what's most valuable to know, as an employer in this, you'll know who's applied for individual jobs that you've listed. And then you'll also see a candidate pool of people who've been certified. So since there's never been a certified resume before, there could never be certified pools of job talent. And this is really the game changer, is that you'll be able to identify people who have Future Fit that may not know about your company. And that's the key. And you'll also know the people who have applied. So we just did that application, right? So for the HR folks, we think that you'll like this. We've also removed the possibility of gender bias. So when you see a smart resume, you don't know the gender, race, or ethnicity of the individual. So up here where it says identifier up here, so we mask that just long enough for you to review and see if this is someone that you want to interview for this position. So we're not only helping you find certified job talent, but you can prove that when you review this person's resume, the reason that you decided to connect with them was based on their talent and nothing else. And so if this is someone that you want to contact, it says, okay, unlock, unlock, and now you see the name. And the reason why we don't have the phone or email there is if you're already talking to John, you don't need to use us. We are not charging, again to be clear, we're not charging any employers here if you're looking for Future Fit. If you're trying to hire a CFO, we're going to charge you for that. But we have a separate agreement for that, but that's how we make our money. So we want to be very clear. There's no gotchas to the schools. We're not charging schools. We're never going to charge John Sample. We're not charging you to find Future Fit talent. Companies, if you want to find other talent, we're going to charge you for that. But then in this case, if you want to contact John, or if you want to share on employers with someone in your company, you just give us the emails of who you want to be able to easily share it with. Or if you want to connect with John, you just hit the contact button. And then in the initial spreadsheet that we get from schools when we sign up, your Future Fit students will say, how do they want to be contacted? Phone and email, just phone. And then that goes into our system, so then employers, when you're contacting, all you have to do is just hit the contact button and write your message, and then it's going to go to the way that John wants to receive it. And then it's hands off from us. It's up to you. You don't have to always use our messaging. We just want to make it easy for you to connect with the individuals, and then kind of the, oh, by the way, so this is, one, employers help you find certified talent. Two, it's also verified. So whenever employers, you hover over these icons, you'll know, okay, on February 17th, 2020, University of Arkansas, Fort Smith, specifically Future Fit certified this. We're also working with UAFS with their credit students. So for those students, it won't say Future Fit, it'll say, Registrar's Office or Career Services. But this way, you know that someone's not just copying and pasting, badges on a resume. You'll actually see the certification timestamp. So I'm done. I don't want to overwhelm you guys today. I know you got a long day, but we're really excited to partner with Steve and his team and Kendall, and UAFS has just already been such a great partner to us to roll this out to other parts of the campus. Any questions on this or anything I can help answer today? My information, Kendall's got information, Steve, probably Steve's the best, Steve and Justin are the best point people. You're more than welcome to email me with any questions, but if anyone would like to get this started sooner rather than later, I'd encourage you to reach out to Steve, and we look forward to working with you. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much.
Does everyone have a folder? And if not, I've got extras. I've got plenty for everyone. Anybody else need one? All right. You're in charge, all right. The first thing I want to do this morning is I would like to introduce our team. You're going to hear their names a lot today, and so when I call them by name, that way you can blame them and you can blame me. My name is Kendall Ross. I'm with the Center for Business and Professional Development here at the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. We have two of our team members that are here today. Dr. Kim Gordon, would you stand? Dr. Gordon is a professor in our department, teaches in our workforce leadership program. She's been real instrumental in the development of this curriculum, and she also serves on the, is it the RSHRM? Tell them.
So RSHRM is the Arkansas chapter, or the Arkansas division of the Society of Human Resource Managers. So at the state level, I'm the workforce readiness chair for that. But then locally, I'm a prior president who is in a professional development role. So connected, yes, to the HR community. I've been in HR work for 20-something years. So, yeah.
And then we have Mr. Cameron McKinney. Cameron is our senior technical instructor. As we break out into our groups later today, Cameron is going to be responsible for doing the hands-on training for the Amatrol Skills Boss. And so he is our technical go-to guy. You want to add anything to that?
No, we'll just cover everything when we do our breakout session.
Okay. So when I call him by name, you'll know who exactly I'm talking about, all right? So Future Fit started actually in 2018. It was designed primarily for this category of people, unemployed or underemployed individuals. They need, the entry requirements are high school diploma or GED and CRC. The minimum level on the CRC is a bronze, so we have to have a bronze. And part of this program is these students may be justice involved. And as we go through that, and we talk a little bit about that, I'll explain that situation too. Originally, it was 96 hours of instruction. That varies a little bit. It may be a little higher than that. I think we probably were looking at about 99 or 100 hours of instruction for the first group, and probably we shoot for about 100 this time. And then the goal was a living wage upon graduation. And I'll kind of show you the results from our pilot. This is data supplied to us from the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. This is Steve's slide, so I don't want to take any credit for this, but this data is from 2018, February of 2018, and you can see where the jobs are. This is our area where we are in here, and you can see that's somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 jobs. From a big picture of the state, this is where all of the jobs are. Of those jobs, again, about 73% of those are entry-level jobs. So the goal here is to train unemployed or underemployed individuals specifically for this skills gap and meet this demand for workers. In 2018, AEDC, along with Tooling U SME, came to the region and developed what's called a job standards report. And inside your folder, on the left-hand side at the very back, unless you've already rearranged everything, is a rather large document that is called a job standards report. I'll grab one just so that I can kind of show you. The job standards report is the basis for Future Fit. It is the job role of production operator assembler. And the Tooling U SME group, along with AEDC, if you'll turn to page 2, right above, the paragraph right above Skills Pipeline Program, that paragraph will tell you who participated in this particular program. So you'll see Ream, Gerdau, International Paper, Molly, Hickory Springs or HSM Solutions, Glatfelter, Beckert, Train, and Rockline. All of those companies developed in the participation of this this document to produce this job standards report. And from this job standards report, we have a certain amount of criteria, and I'll refer back and forth to this. The competencies begin on page 6, where we have this body of knowledge, and then there are certain competencies that needed to be developed within the Future Fit curriculum. So that's exactly what we did. This is where it gets fun. Inside your blue folder, on the left-hand side, there is an Excel spreadsheet, and this is where I want to spend the majority of my time, because I want to tell you how we got from the job standards report to what you're going to deliver when you deliver Future Fit. So this chart starts with competency on the left-hand column. That competency is defined based on the job standards report, pages 6 to 9. And the first competency here is this area of technology. In the area of technology, unfortunately, Tooling U did not have any classes available, didn't have any modules available, and so we've developed some modules to teach for an introduction to online learning and an introduction to computers. As we go through this, you'll see there are some little gaps here and there. When the Tooling U company distributed everything, there was a void in some areas. And so what we've done is we've developed material for you to use that you can use in those specific things. The way you can distinguish between them is a Tooling U module will have a number at the end. And if there is no Tooling U module, then you'll know that is material that has been developed by UAFS that we'll provide you today if you don't already have it. Okay. So as we go along, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Then when we're finished, we'll break out into the 3 groups. We'll do an administrative section. I'll take care of that, and Dr. Gordon will take care of the HR aspect, and then Mr. McKinney will take care of all the technology issues. So if you have specific questions related to those, know that's coming. So what we did is we put together, this is actually the curriculum layout that we're using for our current program right now. So this is not really a tentative date now, it's actually an actual date that we are working towards. So most recently, this week, we were in basics of measurement, basics of tolerance, and then the skills lab is where we have been this week. We start with an introduction class, typically an hour to an hour and a half here, and that's not included in your instructional time. We just add that to that. And then the instructional time begins right here with class session number 1. And again, that refers to this competency, and then this is our class code. So today, Justin, did you bring USB drives?
I did.
Oh, you're the man. So what we'll do, Cameron will take care of providing you all of our class folders with everything that's in that. So that will include lesson plans, PowerPoints if necessary, narrative. What else am I missing? Videos.
Yeah, video links are in some of them.
Yeah.
She has videos in hers.
Okay.
Each one's organized by folder to class.
And then you'll notice that we have an estimated amount of time for each one of these modules. Then we have the instructor that's going to do the teaching, and then kind of what do we need to make all of that happen. So, for example, we broke this up into, in the technology aspect, we pulled one of our information technology instructors here on campus, and he taught that first section on introduction to computing and online training. Then we actually employed 2 math instructors because we thought that was going to be the significant need there. So we hired 2 math instructors from the STEM college. They taught the math portion. Dr. Wazell, who is a retired safety instructor, taught all of our safety. And then you can see we've moved into Cameron is now teaching all of the technical side. This is a little bit of a change from what we did in the pilot program. We started the pilot program in September, and we graduated those students in December. And we've tweaked this a little bit to get into this current role here. So we've dropped a couple of things and then we've moved some things around. We found that this area of safety needed more time in just an understanding of lecture and discussion because it just wasn't built into the schedule the way we built it in. And so we modified that. Fire away.
Kendall, does the safety content satisfy the requirements for OSHA 10?
It does. Yes, it does. We're
Is that
not.
part of it, the OSHA 10 card of completion?
No,
No.
no, we're not offering that.
Now, if you have an OSHA 10 certified instructor and you want to issue one on your own, then, I mean, you can do that. I mean, there's no
Yes.
law against that. So.
Yeah, that would be a possibility.
But we didn't include it because, you know, OSHA 10 certified instructors with authorization are hard to find, so it's not included in it.
As we go through this, we'll break out today and we'll take a look at Tooling U. I think if you don't have your logins, that's okay. Cameron will use his login and show you what the Tooling U modules look like. As you go through this program, feel free to arrange these in any order that you want. That's kind of what we've done. Just don't add and delete. Just try. You can take the same puzzles. What, Kim, how did you describe this yesterday?
I don't remember something about you can arrange the puzzle pieces any way you want, but it's still gonna make the same picture in the end.
That's something like that. It was a good discussion. We kind of had that discussion. You can do this in the order that you feel is best for you. We've moved some things around this semester because of the availability of Cameron. That's really what we've done. And so we've moved some things there. But I like this layout now based on where we are. We start with basically the technology, which you're going to want to do that first because you're going to want to do an introduction to online computing. You're going to want to do the introduction to the Tooling U. We take care of all of that in this. And then math way up front and safety way up front is very helpful. Then we've pushed all of the technical skills to here, followed by all of our interpersonal social skills and personal qualities. And when you get to this point, you'll notice that we have Tooling U modules that are all the way through lesson 33 or class 33. Then we have a night where we help with job applications, and we've not done the SMART resume yet, but that's our game plan for this semester, is to do SMART resumes here, but we do job applications, interviewing skills, mock interviews, all of that kind of stuff that this group of people desperately need. Then you'll notice we're going to finish this semester with these 6 specific skill sets, and all of these skill sets are things that we've developed, and we're providing you with PowerPoints, lesson plans, everything that you need to teach that, all of the videos, those are all there. Those will be strictly lecture driven. Tooling U SME is working on this piece, but they'll have it to you next year. So we're going to give it to you now, and so that's kind of where we stand. Any questions on the layout of the curriculum that you want to throw out? I mean, I'll certainly address most of that in the, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it looks like you've got 1.5 hour time frames on some days you've got 3 hours. So how do you work that out with your students?
So each class is 3 hours, and so if you'll see, it's broken out into this night is 3 hours, and we estimate the basic computer skills to last 1.5 hours, and then introduction to online learning 1.5 hours.
So you just brought them in for a short time on the introduction and then you start.
Yeah, so the introduction is, this introduction is here's what you're going to do for the next 12 weeks.
And if you look at the color change in the slides, that's a different night. So you have each other in 3 hour chunks.
So each class, the way we have it set up this semester, each class is from 4 to 7 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Last semester it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We're considering a change with this next round and this next cohort. We're considering a 4-hour block instead of a 3-hour block. We're considering Monday through Thursday, 4 hours from noon to 4. So we're we're regrouping and we're thinking about, as we implement this next one in April, about making this change. So that means these time slots from an hour and a half may come to an hour and a quarter. So we're manipulating some of that stuff to try to fit our students. One of the things we found, and I'll speak to this in a minute, but one of the things we found with our pilot group is the math portions were really difficult for them. However, with our pilot group, we had 1 week to market this. So Steve and Cody were gracious enough to let us put people in there that did not have a CRC, and one student got in that did not have a GED or a high school diploma. So math was difficult for them, and it was a very lengthy exercise. This group that we have now, everyone fits all of the criteria, everyone has CRCs, everyone has high school or GED, and the difference in learning is significant between the pilot group and this group, significant. So we're able to accomplish so much more with this group because they're well prepared. Other questions? Yes, sir.
What do you do if you have someone that is absent for one session? Do
Okay.
you have a makeup time, or do they just go on through?
So one of the things you'll find is there are two problems. You'll have a tardy problem and you'll have an absentee issue. Particularly right now with flu season, it's a big problem. Cameron has been really good about offering it as a live stream class. He's done that. We also, for these units that have Tooling U modules, if they're willing to do the Tooling U module at home and pass the Tooling U module, then we won't count that as an absence. And so we're allowing all of our instructors to determine whether the absence is excused or not. In our original group, of the 9 that graduated, everyone had completed all 100% of the modules and completed that by the time they graduated. Kim?
CRC, is everybody aware of what the CRC is? Because we keep saying that, I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry.
It's a Career Readiness Certificate, and that was instituted by, I think, Governor Beebe back a number of years ago. So you'll need to make sure you know where in your community that CRC is administered, because that's at no cost to you or to the student. So I want to make sure we know that. On the intro, that first night, it might be better just repackaging your brain, just say that's the orientation to it, because that's when we go over the rules, the ground rules, our expectations, like what to do if you are missing a particular course. And Kendall's correct, the Tooling U system, the platform, they can access that from home. When we were working on the pilot group, we thought, well, if they cannot make it for whatever reason, most of these people are not going to have internet at home, but they can go to a public library or the school's library or whatever and still get caught up on that. So we thought that that was a viable alternative to just kick them out. And then one other thing, the idea about moving this to an afternoon delivery, in Fort Smith we've got very limited public transportation, and transportation has been a real nightmare for us. There have been times that Cameron has transported people to and from school. I mean, Kendall has done that, and I've not been brought that brave. But anyhow, so you might have to look at your communities and what kind of resources they have for transportation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Since you mentioned that about CRC,
Yes.
are they, no matter how many times they take it, are they not charged, or is it accurate?
I don't know if there is a.
Yeah, so the question is, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
We
Yeah.
actually have had meetings recently with the Department of Workforce Services, who actually pays and administers that thing statewide. If you have issues with getting people through that process, let us know. They've been told to be very flexible about how that operates right now. We have sat down last week, I guess, and talked to them about, historically, when you take the CRC, you take a pre-assessment that tells you whether or not you're actually ready for the assessment, the actual assessment. In the past, if you didn't pass all 3 of those modules at a level 4 or better, I think, you were not allowed to be set for any of the modules, the real ones. That's changed. If you get somebody who's done very well on 2 of the 3 and they lack math, let them take the 2 or 3 that they've got, let them go back and work on the math, and come back and take the math. So we're making it a lot more flexible and a lot more user-student friendly, if you will. Because right now, and to make up things, if they don't do well, if they do pass the locator or whatever they call that initial assessment, and then don't do well on the actual assessment, we'll figure out a way to get them through that thing, so don't sweat that part. Historically, it's not been all that user-friendly, but we're working on that. Kind of like trying to build a glacier with a big lighter, but it's coming. But no, actually, we're making progress with those guys, and they're very flexible about how they're gonna make it happen, how they'll allow it to happen, and there will be no cost to the students to take the second assessment or even the third if we need to do that. We'll figure out a way to get that covered as well.
Good.
So, if you have issues with where you get them taken at, the process, the length of time, accessibility, let us know, because they've promised to work with us on that, and I believe they will. But again, we understand that right now it may not be as easy as it sounds. All the group in our office, Jess and myself and all the rest of our team, have actually gone and taken the CRC and actually got one. In addition to that, they're making some changes to the CRC certificate per se. In the past, they have been issued out of the governor's office. Governor signed them as well as the Department of Workforce Services signed them. And they were all issued and sent out to the place where they were taken, and there they sit. Okay,
Have file boxes.
there are stacks of them all over the state. We have since gone back to ACT and given them a framework of what we want the certificate to look like, with the governor's signature and Dr. Childers' signature for Department of Workforce Services. They will be issued out of ACT, and the other thing about it, the numbers on the past in the front of them that had the CRC numbers on the bottom, they're not real numbers. They're sequential numbering of how many came out of the state. So now they will also have the actual ACT designation and come from ACT email to the recipient, so that it doesn't sit in a dead letter box somewhere. So we're making some changes in the entire process.
That's good.
It is coming. But bear with us. If you have issues, let us know, and we'll help you through those. So that's it. I'll say. Thank you.
Great questions. What else? Yep.
You said for the next session, you're thinking about going to a 4-hour
Yes.
window. Can you talk to any kind of experience or logic you've had of like doing a 3-hour versus 4-hour? We're actually looking at maybe even longer delivery time to shorten the number of weeks.
Sure. When we first started, it was kind of an unknown as to how many were actually going to be employed. And so we were trying to think in terms of, let's do this after hours. So we began at 5:30. That's the way we laid the program out. We thought, well, we're going to have someone that works. We did have one person that worked till 5 and began at 5:30. 8:30 seemed like a reasonable time to start. That's kind of the way we developed it from the beginning. We've discussed doing it in shorter time frames because it's certainly much better for the individual that's unemployed, but for the individual that's employed, different story. Cameron, how many of yours are employed this round?
I don't have a firm number, but off the top of my head, about 5 of them.
Okay, I was going to guess 4, so that's a good guess. So the current schedule is 4 to 7 p.m. What we're thinking about is noon to 4 and kind of see what that works. This is kind of a trial and error. I think you could also do this if you wanted to consider, if you had a company that would jump in and support you here, you could do this in a good 2.5-week boot camp type style if you wanted to do something along those lines. We think that by moving from 3 hours to 4 hours and then 3 days a week to 4 days a week, we can shorten this to maybe 6 weeks or something like that. And then that kind of gives them a light at the end of the tunnel that's a good solid light. There's a little hope. Yeah. I don't know. It's a trial and error for sure. Justin.
Are there any sessions that do not have an online module or say either PowerPoint tied to them?
Well, only the labs.
Well, anytime that says labs,
Like
those
this.
are built in with the Skill Boss equipment has lab testing. Miscellaneous does not, safety issues, but there's Skill Boss labs in there. Basically, there's more labs than you could ever complete, and so you'll get I have them broken out, but when you buy the Skill Boss, you'll have all of these labs in there. And what I do is if we're done and if we get done early, I'll pick a lab out. I mean, we're not telling the instructors how to deliver the curriculum, just the topics to cover. So there's more than enough labs to fill any void.
Yes, sir?
I would just say that you guys know your assets and know your communities better than we do. We're trying to offer the time frame when you show up, that we can get them here. So if you've got better ideas on how when to deliver that, or chunks of time that work for you, I wouldn't back away from it. You know where your instructors are, where your classroom availabilities are, when your company shifts, how those work, and you know when your clientele are working, when they're not. So I'd say figure out what works for you. This is a template. If you find something that works better than what's going on, you can let us know, because this is very early in the process.
I agree, because we keep fine-tuning this as we move along. We learn all kinds of things each time we do this, and we adjust it to try to fit that pattern.
If I might say something, I found that as far as communication with the students, it works. I wouldn't use my cell phone, but like a Google Voice number, and you text them. I would found that the number one way to keep them responsive and going is to set them up and just text them every day. Why aren't you here? What's going on? Okay. There's no point calling them. You don't have time to do that anyway. But if you text them like that, emails. We try to get them to be responsive to emails for employers. That's part of our goal. But I would say that the number one thing is response to the students, and the best way to do that is some kind of computer texting, and just keep up with them. So every day somebody doesn't show up, where are you? What's going on? So.
Let me speak to the length of the class. One of the things we wanted to be cautious about when we first started was folks that come in here, a lot of this stuff is like drinking out of a fire hose. If you give them a 6-hour class, they may not retain a lot of it.
Yeah.
So that is our caution. When they come out of the program, you want to ensure the employers that you're working with, that the folks come out of there can do what you say they can do. So you have to look at the class. If you got a bunch of folks come in there and they're all sharp folks and moving right along, feed them faster, and if not, then feed them at the pace they can do. And again, back to Kim's point, your schedule, your classrooms, your facilities all have to fit within that whole thing as well. But again, it's a trial and error kind of thing. This is a group of folks that, again, have not had exposure to a lot of this, and so a lot of it, you want them to see it, but you want them to retain it as well. So that's it.
There was a question in the back.
Is there a place on the application form for the trainees when they would be available for training, so you can kind of do class around that?
You could add that. We don't have that available at the moment. We kind of just determined and then went from that. We've had some discussions. Where's the ladies from Fort Smith Delta? And there they are. We kind of had some discussions about when are those students available, and that noon to 4 in this particular area seems to be pretty good, but we don't know. That's not a bad idea. The other issue is finding 15 to 20 students. That's going to be another issue. The first group, we had a week to advertise this. I think the first night we might have had 16 students, and then 2 of them were there. They didn't know what they were getting into. They were already making $18, $19 an hour at a local plant. They thought they were going to upskill. So we lost them. We lost another 2 or 3 real quick. We were down to 10. We managed 10 for a few weeks and dropped another one, and then ended up graduating 9. It's a little tricky. It's not like you have 40 applicants for this thing. We had 21 applicants for our existing class, and we're probably at 15 now, I think. That's where we are. So yeah, that's a good point. Yes, sir?
What exactly does the instructor role look like for those courses based on the computer lab?
Okay, so as far as the Tooling U portion?
Yes.
Okay, so when we go to the breakout and you do that, are you going to be in the technical aspect?
I'll be in the math aspect.
Okay, so you'll be with Cameron today, and we'll kind of look at a sample of the Tooling U, kind of look at that. There's a little bit of lecture, then there's a Tooling U LSM or LMS module that'll go along with that. Yeah. So when we first started this and we looked at everything that had to happen, the question we all ask ourselves is, how do we get equipment that is replicable across the state such that we're all training the same way, the same place? I'm not an Amatrol sales rep, so I'm not going to stand here and tell you the wonderful aspects of Amatrol, because I'm just not going to do that. This is why we chose the Amatrol Skill Boss and the gauging system. It's great for production operators. It also will, if we continue this and move from production operator assembler to the next role of maintenance technician, or we even make it to mechatronics, this equipment will be sufficient to get us all the way through those 3 modules if we do that. So if AEDC and OSD decides they want to continue this and move forward, you will have enough equipment to make all of that work. So that's how we chose that. Dr. Gordon?
When you reference mechatronics, and I don't know how many you said modules, but we need, those are different programs.
Yes.
So there's 3 different programs. This particular one you guys are here for today is one program with however many 30-something modules, right? So
Yes.
the other 2 he was referencing are the next 2 additional programs.
Yeah, the next it looks like this. So this is production operator assembler. This is what we've released at this point. Mechanical repair is down the road. Mechatronics is down the road. You have enough equipment to handle both of these other programs if you buy the Skill Boss. So this is, for those of you that have never seen a Skill Boss, this is what that looks like. And this is the precision gauging equipment that we've specified along with that. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about our graduation. We had our graduation in December, and Dr. Hale spoke a little bit earlier. It really was standing room only. This is a room, a conference room we have on campus, and it was packed with people standing in the back. We did have, this is a picture of the folks here at Train with their presentation to their employee. So we did a kind of a signing day event with all of these recipients. Lots of food. The governor, Steve was there, and we made presentations. Some of you have asked about this certificate. It is inside your folder there. There's a copy of it, and we'll talk to it in a minute. We printed it on certificate paper. We developed that certificate. That's what that is. We had plenty of people there. This is our first group. This is the group, the pilot group that went from September all the way to December, the ones that made it to the end. And so there were 9 of those students. And here's our data. So in the fall of 19, in September, we graduated, or we started with 10 students and graduated 9. We started, I got the numbers there, 16 is what we started with. We very quickly worked our way down to 10, and then that 10 continued for a few weeks, and we ended up graduating 9. The one that we didn't graduate, she had been in and out of the hospital so much, and she just eventually dropped the program. We had 5 employed at the night that we released the graduation ceremony. We had 5 presentations from manufacturing employers, ranging from $13.65 to $14.50 an hour. That's good money here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. May not feel great to some of you, but that's good money, especially for people that have been unemployed or underemployed. And we had 1 employed. Kim, can I tell this story about the one that was employed at the warehouse? As long as I don't say his name, it's good. So we've told everyone from the very beginning, there will be drug tests. You will be drug screened before you're hired. Cameron, how many times did you tell them that?
Repeatedly.
So, one of our candidates, his urine was cold, and so consequently, when they asked him to repeat the test, he refused and walked out. I had a great job lined up as a welder at, or a line operator, but it's the term called welder at a production company here in town. He could have been making easily $15 an hour, but instead now he's at a local warehouse making $10 an hour. Now he does have, probably 30 hours a week, which is more than he had working at Sonic, but nevertheless, we tell them from day one, there will be a drug screen. There will be a drug screen. It will happen, and so we had one fail. The three that were not employed, one, again, didn't have a GED. It's just a problem. One had a significant felony, and the third one was 21 or 22, liked living with grandma. Can I say that? Is that right? I don't know any other way to say it. I mean, that's exactly what it was. I mean, could have had a great job. Had a clean pass, did really well in the class, and just not interested in working. So that's kind of where we are. The current program, we had 21 applications, 21 people enrolled. After maybe a week or two, we were down to 15. 15 is where we have enrolled right at the moment. That's kind of where we stand. We expect of that 15, 10 to graduate because we're beginning to see a little more attrition. We're beginning to see a few numbers here and there. I don't know. Again, maybe 12 weeks is a long time, or maybe just attendance is a problem. Our graduation will be sometime in mid-April, and our next cohort will begin in mid-April as well. Any questions about that? Yes, sir.
I believe the MOU says you can start a class with no more than 20, but you have to finish with 15. Is that going to be a pretty stiff requirement, or is
Steve, Cody,
there's flexibility there?
Yeah, based on what we're seeing here, if you start with 20 or 25 and can handle them, I'd say go for it. There'll be enough natural attrition in the process. If we can get 15 out of it, you're doing very well.
Well, but if we don't have the 15 to finish, are we going to be penalized?
Let's talk about that one-on-one for the first class. I mean, the first class is the hardest to get up and going, but after the first class gets up and rolling, the word kind of gets out. The second class, again, you saw the numbers that were there. You got to get it introduced somewhere. You got to get it out there. I would start with less than 10. I mean, I would start with more than that and get down at 9 or 10. It's going to happen. You can. Yes.
So I want to brag on Cody and Steve and the state because they give us an opportunity here. And how many of you have been around when you've had gubernatorial mandates that weren't unfunded mandates? Have you been around for some of those? Those are unpleasant. But now what we have with this is some folks that know where we are in our schools and know how strapped we are to do the things we've got to do. But they've given us enough money through this opportunity and purchasing the equipment to make this work. I know we were able to source that talent and use our people here and pay enough that we're still not, as an institution, going in the hole. We should be ahead of this thing. And we promised Steve and the team, let's work with us here, give us an opportunity to get this off the ground, and if we get it sustained and systematic and we know what our resources are, that we can build those out, then we can probably come back to the state and do this for a little less money than what we're doing it for now, honestly. So that's what and they said, okay, that's a great idea, let's go that route. If you have 20 show up and night 3, you're down to 8, as educators, we don't know that. We know typically that if we start with 20, we're going to retain, 3/4 or better. I would say, from my perspective, the communication is the key. If you pick up the phone, you call Justin, say, Justin, man, we had 18 on the hook. Come night 2, we're down to 14. Can you work with us here? These guys are in it to make it work, and so are we. This whole thing is a template. If you know how to make it benefit your community, you need to do that. And please pick up the phone and call us and say, Kendall, Ken,
Yep.
Here's what we did, and man, you talked about something that helped us this work. Let us know. So that you all know this as educators. The training part is the easy part. Getting them in there and getting them motivated is the other piece. And so they don't have all these other concerns in the back of their mind so that they're able to benefit from what you're trying to give them. If you haven't already talked to your industry partners about this, you need to call them on your way home today. And I'm not kidding, because that's the one that's going to make or break you.
it will fail without
You
industry
need to
backing.
have them in and get them to buy in, and maybe even get them to talk to some of our folks or to Steve or some things, so we can help you shore that up. But if you haven't done that, you need to do that. And if you haven't talked to your adult ed partners and your Department of Workforce Services partners and your community support mechanisms of where these folks find resources, you need to do that on the way home, or just PDQ, you know what I mean? Because the work inside this classroom is the work. It's getting the students there that are motivated and able to benefit from what we're giving them. So that's, if I could give you any advice today, other than the mechanics of how these wonderful people have put this together, and it's pretty good. I mean, we've got, I'm gonna brag on them, I'm gonna say we've got the best group for a unit our size, in a town our size. I'd put them up against anybody in the nation, and I'm not joking, they're great. And they took a canned curriculum and have shorted up for you, and you're gonna have a thumb drive, so all the stuff that you have on paper, you're gonna have electronic copies. And if you see gaps, we're not saying that it can't be improved. Tell us, help us make it better. But aside from all that, you better get with your companies pretty quick, and you need to get with your pipelines for your participants pretty quick, because that'll be from my perspective, some of the toughest work to do. And I would.
Yeah, we were speaking with the employers from about midway on, telling them what we were going to do. We met with them. We provided breakfast for anyone that wanted to come. We shared with them what we were about to do, when graduation was going to happen, and then they began to interview these applicants. A couple of these applicants had multiple offers and had to pick and choose between where do I want to go. And it's great to have a future fit applicant say, I'm going to turn down this manufacturer so I can go to work with this manufacturer. That's a great spot. I mean, that doesn't always happen, but it was great at that time. Yes, sir.
Did your employers agree to interview all 9 graduates, or did they pick and choose who they wanted to interview? How did that kind of work? I mean,
Kim, you want to answer that?
Well, they interviewed who they were interested in interviewing. So what we did is, at that point where we had that kind of workshop for the HR people, and by the way, this is why I keep saying, you need to find out where your regional HR group is, that Crc chapter, because that is your best link into these jobs. They're the people that hire. You can talk to people in maintenance or whatever. They don't hire. They don't have hiring authority, so you better talk to your HR people. So what we had happen then is, after they got done, hearing about what we had to offer, they began sending us links to their online application process, usually through the corporate office. So, you go to, like, you would go to train.com, you go to careers in Fort Smith, Arkansas, so on. But they would tell us what links they thought were best suited to our people. So then in class, Cameron gave them all of these URLs so they could go out and apply for the jobs that they were interested in. And then they're going to be treated like any other applicant. So it's important for them to understand that they've got to be honest, show up on time, and all those other characteristics that we associate with being a good applicant. So some of the applicants had a lot of interviews because they did better in that capacity. There were a few that we really struggled. Again, they typically were the ones that had, we had 2 that had very serious felony histories and justice involved histories, and those were much harder for us to work with. But we found somebody interested in both of those. You just got to really work it. And we also taught them about writing thank you notes, because that's a big deal. So they had to send thank yous, or we told them to send thank yous to the people that interviewed them. So anyway.
To Kim's point, I think all the institutions that are here, Justin and I, our team have met with you guys and the companies in the area that we hope to be core companies. And that's exactly for the reason, Kim, so that we can bring those guys on board, get them engaged from day one, expand that group, and you're exactly right. If you don't talk to the companies that are out there, you're just running classes, okay? We're trying to make a difference in these folks' lives, and those guys have got the jobs. They're looking for people, they're hungry for people, but you got to talk to them. You bring them on board. Cody, comment?
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that, and just to kind of put it in more real terms, I mean, if you don't have company support, we're not going to fund the program, right? So I mean, we're not going to put equipment there, and we're not going to make those investments. If there's nobody at the table saying, we're going to work with you all to hire these individuals when they come out of this. So we have to think of it from a return on our investment at the state level. And while we want to put this equipment and provide this instructional funding to every part of the state, right? To your point, if you have 16, 17 people and you end up with 8, are we not going to fund it? No, right? We're going to be supportive of that effort. But, we want those employers there. I mean, it's a requirement in order before I'm going to sign an MOU, and Steve and whoever else, we're going to have these employer discussions with them in the room, and Steve and Justin are going around the state having those right now, I mean, at this time, so they're ongoing. But that's the reality of it.
And you're not gonna have to twist their arm. I mean, we're
They're
at,
looking for talent.
how many quarters are we at -4% unemployment? These people need help, and I think we found them meeting us halfway, and I think a lot of that is with Steve's help and, you know, Department of Workforce Services and the state's help about, hey, let us help you with this, give us a little wiggle room, maybe massage your regs a little bit around, you know, judicially involved folks, or whatever the case may be. And it's mutually beneficial. It's not like we're gonna go twist their arm. We can't make them hire someone that we train and graduate. All we can do is tell them, you know, give them some good opportunities and take a chance on some folks that haven't maybe had a good chance in a while. And that, you know, that's gonna lift off ships. I mean, we've got a big problem with recidivism and foster care in Sebastian County. We're the worst county in the state, guys, right here. And so this is all part of that process. You know, helping people help themselves, get the kids back, go to work, and so we're getting good help from companies. And
if you work with the companies, I mean, Kendall showed the slide earlier, we have gone around to a lot of companies all over the state, and we know there are a bunch of companies that are about to start up. There are 19,000 jobs available. They are screaming for folks. So if you connect with the right person and the right HR organization in your region, you shouldn't have any problem with these guys coming on board. It is just nothing to help them along. It costs them absolutely zero. And I'd say it's just a beneficial thing all the way across. And you shouldn't have to twist anybody's arm. You won't have to if you talk to the right person. Because they see the value in this. We've asked several employers in the last few meetings we've had, what does it cost to replace somebody when you turn them over? The cheapest answer we've heard is $10,000. Okay? These folks are coming to you for free. Okay? So, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer if you get the right people, and if they're looking for people, and most of them are. And 75% of those jobs that were shown on the board a while ago are entry-level jobs that this qualifies you for. So, I mean, it's kind of a, if you need help contacting them, let us know. We'll be out there with you guys doing it, talking out the doors, calling me, getting people together if we need to. But again, and our job is to help, if you don't have a good relationship with them, help establish that with them if you can't get in the door. Some companies are hard to get into.
yeah, the companies that have hired ours are some pretty stratified, bigger groups that know the regs and walk and talk the regs every day and have all the restrictions that most of yours are going to have. You know, so if someone's telling you, well, we just can't do that, you know, maybe we can help those people have a conversation with Dr. Gordon or folks about how maybe it is a possibility that they just haven't done yet, and try to help us, you know, meet halfway.
And another piece of this that you guys have had until now is what Dave mentioned a while ago, the smart resume piece. This helps the HR group a whole lot in trying to figure out who to hire, look at the quality skills, look at all of the backgrounds that they've got before they ever find out who they are. That ought to help an HR manager immensely. Plus the fact that they get in, get registered with it, they'll get an email coming out that'll say, hey, we've got 10 graduates coming out of here, this is what they look like. So Dave's going to be a great piece of this thing. That was one of the key things that the companies asked us initially is, to get all these people through this, how do we find them? Okay? Dave's the answer to that and identifying what he's doing with that. So that's God, I can't thank you enough on that, Dave. And I think it's going to be a real success. Companies are going to be able to find them. They're going to be able to find jobs. We got to find them just to get them in seats.
Dr. Gordon?
Yeah.
Okay. Go, Cody.
How long did y'all spend on the 21 people, right? How long did you spend recruiting and marketing to get those 21 people?
Right at 4 weeks.
Tell them about your champion, Karen. We had a pretty good champion out there. Was she responsible for a big chunk of that?
So the way we have found to market this is get it in the hands of everyone that has contact with everyone in this situation where they're underemployed or unemployed. Karen Phillips is our local 100 Families director, and she got the flyers or the electronic distribution in the hands of everyone that has a touch. DWS, Fort Smith Adult Ed, DHS, the local county government, I mean, just all of those locations where these people exist and see, that's where we got the most response from. And so that's how we marketed the program. Dr. Gordon?
And also alternative sentencing, because
Yep.
to speak to Ken's point on the problem with the number of children, the ratio of kids in foster care in this part of the state, and recidivism, we knew that was a big population right there that needed to be captured, so that is another manner in which to do it.
Yes, ma'am?
Have you marketed to veterans and National Guard?
We have not. It's a good point. It's a good thought. It's a really good thought.
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, because they still come through those same channels, Judith. But as far as direct mail marketing to vets, no.
Yeah.
Well, there were agencies serving.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And that might be, if we move into the tier 2 and 3 of Medtronics, and,
More
I
likely.
mean, that would, especially with military background and heavy maintenance or something.
And Judith, the resume that we were talking about, the smart resume, was that what it was called? Smart
Yes.
resume? Okay, good. So oftentimes, if you've done all the research of vets, and you're like one of the top people in the nation dealing with reemployment of vets, redeployment of them, the challenge is for them to be able to articulate their skills that they had in that environment into something that's appropriate to the civilian world. So perhaps that tool will help them
Yeah,
out as well.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
as Dave demonstrated it,
That'd be really
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
If you have somebody doing really well, is there any way to fast track them through this?
I don't know how, because the problem is the majority of the skills are going to be in the classroom, the technology aspect of it. It's going to be a hands-on portion there. I don't know. Do you know how to? You're teaching the technical. There's really not. There's no way to get around the technical.
I mean, I've
aspect
got
of it.
some really, some sharp ones, and they've worked ahead. They have their modules complete when they show up. I've got my classes, you split them up how you want to, but I like to do lecture, then lab, lecture and lab, chunk it up. And so at the end of it, when we get everything done and I'm helping them with their test, they've already taken their test before they showed up, they leave. So.
I think it's a capacity thing. If you had everybody working at different points, it would be very hard as an instructor to corral all that in a lab to see who's doing what. So I think it's just one of those things where it's got to be neater just because you can't be everywhere.
Another piece of that is that employers want to see regular attendance.
That's correct.
Okay? So I mean, not just can you get through the material and go home, can you show up every day? Can you be there the entire time? Can you participate? Can you work well? I mean, there's a lot of things built into this curriculum that is beyond the educational stuff. I mean, it's the real life, day-to-day kind of thing that employers want to see. And that's kind of why we intended this thing to be a little longer, it's a little harder. But again, if you can show up for 12 weeks of class, 3 nights a week, okay, you're probably going to make it employed. You've dedicated yourself, you've shown commitment, you've got a GED, high school diploma, you've got the CRC, you spent the time here, you've demonstrated what you can do. That's what people are looking for.
And I want to add, there is a lot to be said for those things that aren't measurable through these particular modules. So we had one student he was the youngest one in the group. I don't know this for sure, but probably autistic, on the autism spectrum. And we all became very attached to him because he tried so hard. It was a struggle, but he prevailed. And so when it came time for him to find jobs, he wasn't doing very well in the interview process, as you can imagine. And had he not, done that and collaborated with the other people in the class, we wouldn't have seen, how he struggled, how much he was really committed to doing this. And when everything was said and done, he ended up, I always get choked up on this one. Over Christmas break, when I was in Miami with my family, I was still working that angle, and we got somebody to offer him a job, and he started his grown-up job in January. Now, he's struggling in that job now, I gotta be honest. He's made it, I guess, 7 or 8 weeks, but he's really, really struggling because in manufacturing, you got to be agile, you got to be nimble and be able to shift pretty quickly, and he's having a struggle with that. But at least we've gotten him to this point where he's had this opportunity. The people that he lived with, they laugh because he's banking money, so he tells everybody how much money he gets on his paycheck, and he's saving it, and he's like showing off, and so he's kind of stepped out of his little bubble that he'd been in because of this opportunity. So.
You guys have done a great job with him, I gotta tell you. Seriously.
He had perfect attendance.
Yes.
That's exactly
Perfect
right.
attendance awards go a long way at the graduation ceremony, especially in front of employers.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's why we want to do it. We want to change
Exactly.
lives.
Sure.
We want to break those
Sure.
generational cycles.
Yeah, it's these stories, it's these kinds of things. names, so I'll go back up here. This lady right here served time for drug possession along with a firearm possession, and had tried time and time again to find a job and just could not find a job. She's working at Ream now, and after being there about 2 weeks, she messaged me and she says, I want to know when the mechanical repair starts. I'm ready to start that program. She's ready to go. So things like this, again, this is exactly why you want to do the program. You're going to change people's lives. It's huge. And that's why at this event, that's why it was standing room only, is because a lot of these people have had second chances and third chances and have blown them. This is their kind of their final shot right here. Inside your packet, there's just a lot of stuff, and we will give you an electronic copy of all of this. None of this is, copyrighted or anything. Feel free to take these flyers, modify them, move them however you want to. We gave you an example. Each one of the modules that you get, each one of the class sessions will have an outline of a lesson plan. This is a guideline. That's what this is. It's a guideline. Certainly it's not we're going to stick to this thing. You're going to adjust it as you see fit. This is a plan to make this happen. And along with that, you've got the resources that you need, whether it's projector or internet access, paper pen, Amatrol Skill Boss Factory Simulator, things like that. All of these, you'll have lesson plans, and you'll get an electronic copy of all of these lesson plans today. So we've got lesson plans for every one of these sessions. Also, there's an equipment list that you're going to need to purchase, and you'll see that today for those of you that are going to the technical side with Cameron. We've got listed here a few things as well as URLs to access them. You're going to need a pancake compressor. You're going to need some airlines, and then the manifold. We purchased safety glasses for this group as well as earplugs to go along with that. On the Future Fit registration form, again, feel free to modify this as you see fit. On the second page, we created a new FERPA release for this group of students. This is a non-credit group, and we need to be able to take this data and give it to the DOC and OSD and AEDC and all the other acronyms associated with them. And we just recently added Identify Smart Resume to this because, again, these are non-credit. They're in our system, but a little bit different. So this FERPA release, I've got a couple of FERPA releases that I'm providing information to parole officers for attendance in classes. And so I provide that whenever they request. It has to be on this FERPA release. I give the information to parole officer Smith or whatever. And then we also put a flyer in regarding 100 families and the information. And then I think there's a copy of the certificate. We'll give you a copy of that. You can use it, or you can swap out your logo and use it, or build your own. It's okay with us. Yes?
I have a question. I worked in manufacturing for a while, and when you talk about mechanical repair and mechatronics, typically those are vocational and technical programs. How are you supplementing that training in lieu of a 2-year degree that they're usually required to have?
Steve, you want to tackle that?
Yeah, I'll try. These are not degrees, they're not certificate programs yet, although we're working with higher education to try to get them there. But what they do contain are what employers have told us they want. If they can go through that, there's a job standards report, just like the one you got there for each of the additional classes. And within that is the scope of everything that those 10 employers have said, look, you send us somebody who's gone through this and certified to be able to do the things in this, we'll hire them. So again, if there's a requirement by an employer, let us talk to the employer and let them understand and see what's in this. Eventually, we hope to get this to be a certificate of proficiency program, or at least a technical certificate or something on that order. But currently, the employers have said, this is what we want. And that's what we're going on. Yeah, Ken.
I'll have to do that. So just one more time, everything that's in that packet and that we're doing and that is on the plans right now to be done falls into this first bucket.
Yep.
This is a second iteration that may come along a year or two from now.
Yeah, I
And
understand
it-
that. I'm
okay.
just saying it's generally a 2-year degree.
Right, so all this is non-credit instruction. And we do a lot of non-credit instruction, but also we have certificates, proficiency, technical certificate, associate degrees, and on in every, from electronics technology, electrical engineering technology. Cameron's got a multi-craft is what we call it, apprenticeship that's non-credit, that's DOL apprenticeship. So if they're already employed, this will likely be an upskill of people who are already employed rather than a credential of the associate degree. And I will say, as the dean of the college, we'll know what these are, and we'll look for opportunities to do some prior learning or to do some crosswalk, reverse credit kind of things, if we get to that level. What we're doing right now is very basic. Kendall said hiring people out of our STEM college. You're not going to need a PhD mathematician to teach the mathematics that we're going along with this. You're going to need someone to do more like your ABE, okay? Those basic ed things to get to what you need to get to this learning level. So I think that we'll look for ways to do that if this comes to fruition.
I'll say one other thing regarding, from an HR perspective or recruiter's perspective, if you have a bona fide, an essential job function that states they must have that sort of formal education, this can't circumvent that. That won't do that. But what this will do is identify people who can be a helper and be more exposed to that particular field so that they can do some of that gap work that occurs. And then perhaps those people, as he was saying, can matriculate on into one of the programs that actually does need a credential. So it's not going to replace somebody that would have extra training that gives them that qualification.
And as hard as companies are trying to find people right now, if they can get them in the door with this, and then get them back into the associate program or whatever it is, then maybe they will move them up in there in lieu of that until they can achieve that as well, if they'll enroll and come back to school for that. So there's a lot of ways to move them through the progress. It doesn't replace anything, and again, if it's a requirement, it's a requirement for the company. But right now, a lot of companies are willing to kind of look at that, negotiate with you a little bit on an individual. If they find somebody who's got the skills, the technique, and they want to come to work for them, they'll work with you on a lot of that. So, yeah.
Next question. Yes.
What are the schools around the state that are participating in this program and how are they selected?
What are the schools participating and how were they selected?
Okay, the group is here probably is either from Pulaski Technical College in Little Rock, UAPTC, Black River Community Technical College at Pocahontas, SAU Tech, and Paragould, excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm thinking home base, okay. Yeah, it's out there and they do a great job. SAU Tech in Camden and in Cossata in DeQueen. Who else we got here? Go over, sorry. South? CRC. Okay, yep. So these guys,
ASU Mid-South.
ASU Mid-South, okay. We got folks from all over. They were selected because we contacted them. They seemed eager and interested, and we've had companies that expressed an interest. Back to Cody's point, we got in the market coming out of the program, we got in the program. So we're trying to find, and again, and that was based on, back to the slide that Kendall showed a while ago, where the jobs are at, where the largest part of the jobs are at.
Yes.
Now, there are jobs in all counties, okay? Some of them have more, some are available. Some colleges seem to really want to work towards non-credit. This is non-credit. So a lot of the colleges are not getting a lot of credentials for this. That's what we're trying to work towards, getting this into some kind of a credential program so the colleges actually get credit in the funding formula as well on down the road. But you've got to get it started somewhere. You've got to see that it's going to work and get it going. But we tried to scatter them around the state. We've got a few more colleges around that we're working with. It's slow. The whole southeastern part of the corner, Crossett, Monticello, and Warren, they're trying to pull together a cohort of locations down that way and enough companies to base it. It's based on demand and college want to and participation. That's kind of how we roll this first thing out.
Do you have someone in Northwest Arkansas?
We do not. We were talking about that on the way over, about getting up to the NWAC and seeing what's going on up that way. There are a lot of programs already existing there that they're doing, so we didn't want to get in there and muddy the water up there. Arkansas Northeastern, up in the northeastern part of the state. It's got a great program going on up that way. This really wouldn't add anything to what they're doing. So we didn't want to step on the toes of anything that was already going on, but we wanted to make it available to where we knew their jobs were and where there were opportunities for colleges to jump in. Kind of short story how that all happened. And again, if you know of any other colleges that want to and will, we'll work with you. We'll round up a cohort of companies and talk to them, and if we can find demand and willingness on behalf of the college, it's available. Okay, we can only do so much so quick. And again, it's, as you see what Kendall and Cameron and those guys have done here, it takes a lot of work to put this together. They've done a yeoman's job of getting this all together before we can even roll it out to show it. And this is kind of the next first wave. Hopefully we'll take it out a little farther than that. We actually had support expressed from the governor yesterday. Take this thing statewide as far as we can make it go. And again, it's ours for the taking. Okay. Right now, this first go around, thanks to Cody and OSD, it's not going to cost the colleges any. And to Ken and Kendall's point, there's enough money in this first go round that you should not lose money on this situation. You should have enough to help market it, advertise it, talk to companies, sponsor a breakfast, do whatever you need to do to get these companies on board. So again, we're willing to take it as far and wide as we can get it. Employers across the state, across the country are screaming for folks, and they want these skills. 75% of the jobs they have open right now, people come through this coursework, if they can do it and demonstrate it, will have a job if they want to, provided again that the background matches the company's allowable background checks and that kind of thing. There's some places that are going to be tough. SAU Tech in Camden, they can't have, there's a lot of military and defense companies down the way, and you can't have a background at all with those guys. So again, depending on the local region, the local employers, match your students as best you can to the employer needs and the employer's allowable credentials and that kind of thing, and their allowable background checks. Some companies are talking about got to have a drug test. Some are saying send them to me. We'll check them later. So
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever it is. So I hope that answers that question.
So there is a sheet going around, and unfortunately I didn't put in a sign-up sheet, but I want to be sure we get you a copy of the presentation, as well as we'll make sure we've got plenty of identify stuff for you. So that sheet that's going around, make sure you put your name and your email address on that. It's right back there. Yes, ma'am.
I understand that so this is a manufacturing program, but I'm asking from a HR workforce readiness perspective as well as an employer. When I look at the skill set, we're in forestry, the forestry industry. So I'm wondering from a HR association standpoint, who am I mentoring down to? Do I need to focus efforts strictly on the manufacturers, or like myself, I thought we could possibly be a partner because we need semi-skilled laborers, and all of that curriculum is like perfect for what I'm recruiting.
You're
Sure.
exactly right.
So
Absolutely.
we can branch out.
Absolutely. Use as much as you can. If the shoe fits, kind of thing. If this satisfies the need that you got, we start with manufacturers because they were screaming at us. But the core concept, what they told us there, and I believe this, 80% to 90% of the companies in the state of Arkansas who are looking for entry-level employees, if they have these skills, they're employable. And don't have the background issues or whatever else. They will have enough skills, general skills coming in on board. There's nothing specific to manufacturing. A lot of the skills that are taught here, probably 80% of these skills are transferable to any company in the state. Any entry-level position.
And Steve mentioned if the shoe fits, I'm going to throw a little prop in there to the HR Association here in town. Corinne did a terrific job. The HR Association here in this part, it's actually Western Arkansas is the group that's over here. They voted to pay for the footwear for people that go through this program when they get their first job to make sure they have their proper footwear for the work environment. And while most of the employers provided that to people up front, not everybody did. And so Corinne did a great job of lining up a local company here in town that directly billed the HR Association for that footwear.
And we thank you for that. That shows
Yeah,
great
it's a
support
great thing.
To the companies and as well as to the college and everything.
I think you'll find a lot of people will rally around this because there's such a great attachment to it of changing people's lives. I think you'll see a lot of people rally to that point.
I think the HR spin is just because we're so the manufacturing spin is because we're so manufacturing heavy here in Fort Smith, but all this is transferable skill. The management, all that, well exceeds anything in manufacturing.
I got the whole belt of
Yeah.
area out there in Little Rock anyway, so I mean.
It's all fundamental stuff.
It is fundamental, it's essential skills and it's transferable. I mean, 80 to 90% of the companies in the state, if they can find somebody who can do this, will hire them in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, it was a manufacturing focus because AEDC had that need to get it out there. There were enough manufacturers and enough jobs available. But again, if you got people that can do this, jump in here and hire them. Absolutely.
So we have boxed lunches for you today. In fact, they probably will be delivered in the next 5 or 10 minutes if they're not already out there. But what we're going to do is we're going to break up into 3 groups. We're going to break up into the group that Cameron is going to take down to Fort Smith Adult Ed, or you're going to pilot the group down there. That group will be the hands-on on the Amatrol Skill Boss, and so Cameron's going to take care of that. Dr. Gordon, Kim, where are you going to go? Back of the room?
Here?
Back of the room?
Yes,
Back
my
there?
HR people.
So HR people back to Kim to answer any questions there, and then administratively, if you'll come right up here to the front, we'll just sit and we'll talk about the problems that you've got. I'm going to grab Steve to answer those MOU questions and all those kinds of things. Anything before we break in the group?
Let me speak to the entire group.
Okay, sure.
We had an error in the MOUs. There's one line item on that equipment that was mistyped on the MOU. So we are in the process of redoing those MOUs. We'll be sending them back out to you guys, re-signing those things. And the price on that went up, and so there was $600 or $700 difference in the thing. We're correcting that, and we'll get those back out to you as soon as possible, probably the first week, back to your campuses to re-sign. But the rep for the Amatrol group called and said, hey, why did you try to sneak this in on us? And no, it was in there, I promise. But anyway, so we're working that, and we'll get the MOUs back out to you for re-signature around on that. So anyway, I just want to make sure everybody knew that. Wanted to have it done today, but didn't have time. We were requested for a training yesterday as well, so we're learning now.
Good. Okay, Cameron, if you'll take your group out.
Meet me by the food.
Meet you by the food. That's a good plan.
We're gonna take a break first and then
Yes.
get back to our.
Yeah, let's take a break. Absolutely. Hey, Cameron.
Press